It's Uncle Sam's favorite day. Good morning. I'm Rock 107's Prospector. I'm not talking about Easter Monday or Dingus Day. I'm talking about tax day. Yeah, on average, Americans spend 13 hours and about $240 completing their personal taxes. And as of 2 weeks ago, only 71% of us had filed. For many, today marks the end of that long, painful process. For others, today's just the beginning. Find out if you can be one of them with today's list of the top 5 signs you've submitted a problematic tax return. Here we go. Number 5 for occupation. You wrote, "What's it to you, Mr. Nosy?" Top 5 signs you've submitted a problematic tax return. Number 4, it was prepared by H&R Croc. Number 3, your list of dependents includes a Mr. Whiskers. Top 5 signs you've submitted a problematic tax return. Number 2, you deducted crack as an entertainment expense. And the number 1 sign you've submitted a problematic tax return, under taxable income, you put too much cash to count, bro. There you have it. It was the breakfast of those of us who weren't champions growing up. Good morning. I'm Rock 107's Prospector, and lots of reports out there that Lucky Charms, the cereal, is making people sick. The FDA is on the case. So for Truth in Advertising, here's their latest commercial.
There's Yucky the leprechaun. He's got the Yucky Charms.
Oh, they're always after me Yucky Charms, the nauseating cereal that'll have you spewing from both ends. Imagine pink hearts, orange moons, yellow stars, and green clovers shooting from your bum like a marshmallow machine gun. Or maybe you'll just throw up a rainbow, or maybe both.
I don't feel so good, Mom.
So try me Yucky Charms, part of a bowel-blowing breakfast. Oh, frosted Yucky Charms, they're tragically infectious.
Just when you think you heard it all, right? Good morning. I'm Rock 107's Prospector. And like you, I've heard a lot of stories over the years. But today, I heard one that just was like, what? I got a call from a guy a few years back, and he did something shady back in the day. Check it out.
1974 and 1981, I was a marijuana smuggler, and I hauled approximately 100 tons of Red Bud Columbia out of the swamps of Louisiana off the shrimp boat.
Wow. I mean, that's dangerous work and, you know, illegal and all that, obviously. But, man, that's crazy to me. So I wanted to know this morning something you did, legal or illegal, it's up to you if you want to share it, that not a lot of people have done. That's what we're looking for. Luann says, I swam in the Half Moon Bay in the Persian Gulf back in Saudi Arabia in March of 1991. Chris, Facebook.com/Angry Prospector says, my wife and I were married by Darth Vader. Wow. Mel on the rock lines, what'd you do that maybe not a lot of people have done?
Something that I've done that not most have is I actually died and was resuscitated, so when my son was born, I was dead.
Wait, what?
He was brought out, then they started me back up, I guess. 8:44 he was born, 8:44 I coded, 8:46 I was brought back.
Man, that is an amazing... I never thought I'd hear a story like that today.
That is my story of not many people have done that.
Rock 107, what have you done that maybe not a lot of people have done?
Hi, Prospector.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Chuck from Blakely. I got a first-round knockout in the tough man competition. How's that? 53 seconds, I put the guy down.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Jake says, I was a chef on the submarine in the U.S. Navy. Yeah, I've never done that. I'm sure there are many chefs, but not a lot of people have done that. Out of the rock lines, something you've done that not a lot of people have done.
One thing that I have done that most other people haven't done is jump out of an airplane at 10,000 feet.
Got one on open mic on the Rock 107 app. What'd you do that not a lot of people have done?
G'day, Prospector. It's Mark from Australia, mate. I've eaten like a piece of my body, cooked it up and ate it. I was working in the restaurant and chopped like half my index finger off and it landed in the fry pan. I thought, oh, well, it's in there now. Let's see what it tastes like. So I picked it up, chomped it down, and it was pretty good, but that's because there's like bacon and onion and oil in the pan with it. I self-cannibalized.
Oh, my God. Self-cannibalism. I don't think we can top it. Patricia says, I hiked up to and looked into an active volcano in Nicaragua. And Linda, I saw the Space Shuttle Enterprise piggybacking on a 747 on its way to a museum in New York City as we looked out the 35th floor hotel window we were in Atlantic City. It flew right past us. It was awesome. Mike from Dunmore on the rock lines. What have you done that not a lot of people have done?
Yeah, when I was about 5 years old, I ran my finger down the crack of the Liberty Bell.
Did they yell at you? Because they don't like when you touch it.
Oh, yeah, I went under the little velvet ropes there. I still remember. I was only about 4 or 5.
So what happened? Did your parents yell at you? How'd that work out?
A little bit of that scolding, and yeah. But kind of people thought it was funny.
Butch from Uniondale on the rock lines. What have you done that maybe not a lot of people have done?
I gave Vince Neil a ride home from a bar once.
How did this happen?
He used to own a house up by Elk Mountain.
Okay.
And he was drinking at one of the local bars, and the bartender thought he had a little too much, so she took his keys. We just knew the guy as Vince, and he looked a lot like Vince Neil. Everybody bussed him about it. I ended up giving him a ride back to his place, and years later, the house went up for sale, and it's got a Motley Crue shower in it.
Wow. I am not vouching for the veracity of these comments, but I'm still shook by the dude who self-cannibalized.
Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Today is tax day. The IRS says the average tax refund so far is $3,263, so just enough to fill your tank. Disney theme park characters will be allowed to hug again starting today. If this excites you and you're older than 12, stay put. The cops are on the way. The USFL debuted over the weekend. Not to say the games were terrible, but they aired on Comedy Central.
Making sure breaking news stays broken. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107. Be tough right now. There's plenty of bad news, but it's not all bad. It's time for the brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
The Boston Marathon is today, but it's just a drop in the bucket for this woman. A lady from Arizona is trying to break a world record by running 102 marathons in 102 days. She's almost there. The Boston Marathon will be run number 92, but here is the insane part. She's doing it all on one leg. She lost her left leg below the knee to cancer, so she uses a prosthetic. And yeah, she's not letting it hold her back. She's going after this record. And it isn't a record for amputees. It's the world record for any female runner.
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
Have you done it yet? Man, I hope you have. Good morning. I'm Rock 107's Prospector. If not, you better get it done or at least file for an extension. Of course, I'm talking about taxes and how much we all hate the tax man.
The IRS is after me. I haven't filed since 93. Don't like the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man. I told them that I took a loss. They garnish wages from my boss. Don't like the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man. Even Quicken can't hide my money.
What's a Yambag? A fool, an idiot, a blockhead, a dunce, or an ignoramus. You know, a dullard, simpleton, or a clot, nitwit, dipstick, pea-brain, mouth breather, or cretin.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Yambag of the day as decided by you at rock107.com.
Here are the nominees. Nominee number 1.
I've heard of freak injuries happening during a certain adult activity, but it's rare you hear of anything happening during solo fun. Well, aside from a little tennis elbow, maybe. A 20-year-old man in Switzerland suffered a rare lung injury recently while pleasuring himself in bed. He experienced chest pains and severe shortness of breath, so he went to the hospital. Apparently, a pocket of air had leaked from his lungs and become lodged in his rib cage and then started spreading around his body, even up to his skull, which, I mean, let's be honest, sounds terrifying. He spent one night in the ICU, but the treatment worked and he was eventually discharged after spending 3 days in the hospital. Doctors say this kind of thing can happen during rigorous exercise or violent coughing fits. In this case, it was apparently the former, I guess. It's very uncommon, but it can happen to anyone, although this guy also had mild, untreated asthma.
Nominee number 2.
If you want a new Audi, the first thing you should know is you got to pay for it. Apparently, this guy thought he was entitled to a free car. A man in Tulsa, Oklahoma named Randy Cantwell walked into a dealership recently, spotted a new Audi that he liked, told the salesman he wanted to take it for a drive. The salesman said it wasn't ready to be driven, and that's when Randy got a little more dramatic about taking the car. He first accused the dealership of stealing the car. He then swiped the keys and attempted to drive it off the lot. He was blocked by employees, so then Randy went to plan B. He claimed he was a U.S. Marshal. He'd been one ever since President Trump enacted martial law. And he didn't explain why a federal marshal would even be entitled to an Audi. The dealership called the cops, and Randy was arrested and taken to jail.
And the winner is
the man who tried to steal an Audi at a dealership by claiming he was a U.S. Marshal because President Trump enacted martial law. You are the Yambag of the day, and we'll move on to Friday's Yambag of the Week competition. Stay tuned for more nominees for Prospector's Yambag of the Day, weekday mornings, right here on Rock 107. Listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app. A free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.